Hey guys, welcome to David vs. Film. I am David, yo soy David, and to my right is Mark.
Yes, I'm Mark.
And we're here to spill the peach tea on your comments from our Harry Potter reaction videos. I did something similar to this for Lord of the Rings, and you guys responded so well, and I had so much fun doing it that I decided to do the same for Harry Potter. I asked Mark if he would join me. He said, of course, and now here we are. But we decided to do a little bit different than what we did for Lord of the Rings. So we've actually combined all of the Harry Potter films into one. So everything we've seen so far from Sorcerer / Philosopher's Stone all the way through Order of the Phoenix, we're going to put into this video. Now we've taken about 5 questions per film from you guys' comments, and they range in your thoughts on each movie to questions or comments you might have had about us, about the channel, things of that nature. We're so excited to jump right in, but before we do, one quick note. If you find value in this video, please consider liking and sharing with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, we would certainly appreciate subscribing, and certainly click that notification bell if you do. And last but not least, if we're not friends, let's be friends. I'll include our Instagram link down below in the description. But for now, let's get started with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
I really like Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know why I didn't really get into the Harry Potter movies, but now that I've watched the first 5, I'm really enjoying them.
But to be fair, if you had tried it from just the first one, you probably wouldn't have continued if it weren't for the channel, right?
Right. No, I wouldn't have. So the first one I thought it was kind of slow for me, but then it kind of picked up towards the end. I probably have a favorite part towards the end where they're playing with that chess.
Oh, the wizard's chess.
The wizard's chess.
That,
Oh, I love that scene. That was a great
Mark wanted to
scene.
get that for our house after he saw that.
Yes, definitely
I
wanted
was
to
like,
get
we can't buy a wizard set chess for our house where it's like life size, but yeah.
That was awesome though. But yes, that was one of my favorite parts. So I really enjoyed watching this one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good one. And we'll just jump right into you guys' comments. And so the way we've done this, if you've seen the previous Lord of the Rings series like this that I did, you'll know that we've chosen comments that are sometimes representative of others. I really wish I could have chosen all your comments because, as usual, amazing. And Mark said it as well. He's like, you have really good commenters, like people that view your videos. I was like, yeah, they're the best. They're so awesome. So thank you guys. I wish I could pull them all, but in the interest of time, we've only, like I said, taken 5 per film. And we have tried to choose the ones that are either representative of something several of you said or something that, we definitely wanted to address further. So the first, though, comes from Katie. And Katie writes, oh yay, a Harry Potter movie, fun. I love these movies and books too, though I gotta admit, the Gryffindor favoritism throughout both the books and movies always bothered me. I know it's a Harry Potter story, so it's natural to see everything from his point of view, but given how much the heart of the story is supposed to be about being tolerant and open and welcoming, it sure doesn't give Slytherins much benefit of the doubt. They all seem to be either mean, ugly, or stupid, and I do not care for that. Haha. Looking forward to future Harry Potter videos. So yeah, definitely, I agree with you, and I'm a Gryffindor fan, and by now Mark is on Team Slytherin, which is great. We have a little bit of diversity here in the household, and I think that's really good with you guys as well. I have to say, and Mark can probably back this up. I read the books first, and then I saw the movies. And so in the books, they definitely go into more definition about the houses and kind of what they represent and kind of what type of people are in those houses. So you didn't see it as much, but so I get what you're saying. There definitely seems to be favoritism towards Gryffindor. We see more of that than anything with the main 3 characters being in Gryffindor. But regardless, you found a draw to Slytherin.
I did, but then I didn't really know anything about the other 2 houses. I mean, I would have been drawn to them if they would have emphasized that a little bit
checked
more
them out or something.
Film, but it's mostly Slytherin or Gryffindor, and I kind of like being the bad guy.
You took a liking to Draco
I took a liking to Slytherin house much more than Gryffindor.
Oh yeah,
I'm a rebel.
He's a rebel. He's a rebel, Dottie. Oh yeah, he breaks all the rules. Yeah, it says 2-inch margins. He's got 2 1/4. Like he's bad. He's a bad guy. You watch out for him. Bad news.
I'm bad news.
Okay, so you want to take the next one?
Yeah. So the next one is from John Corey. Hey John. It's such a treat to see you and Mark do reactions together. Any chance after Christmas of you checking out the Hunger Games movie series? Well, actually, I've already seen the Hunger Games, but I'd love to watch it again. It's been a long time since I've watched it. So, hey, I'd watch it again for the first time.
And I was telling Mark that several of you guys told us that other reactors do rewatches, and they call them, I think, commentaries. They'll just do commentaries on them. So I mean, if that's something you think will be okay, I've asked a couple of you this privately, and you've said that you'd be on board with that. So would you want to watch
great films?
Oh, this is a great series. Yeah. We love J-Law. We love her. So
she's very good.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so thank you, John. Certainly appreciate that.
Thanks, John.
Next up, and you guys know me with my pronunciation. I love you in my heart, and I will say your names as best I can. Please correct me, and I will never get it wrong again. But this next comment comes from Oyen Olubayo. I think that's how it is. Oyen, it'll be printed down below when we do the video. But anyway, did anyone else realize that their punishment for spending time with Hagrid was to spend time with Hagrid? Also, Dumbledore says anyone who does not wish to die a most painful death stay out of the dark forest. Also, Hagrid takes the kids into the dark forest. Yeah, and this is another one of those I'm saying was like representative of several comments that you guys made about this point that I had never noticed before. Yeah. I just kind of watch the movie as it goes. I'm not usually thinking too deeply. But even Mark said that afterwards. Yeah, I don't think it made it in the video, but he made that comment.
I love Hagrid. Yeah. I call him Paul Bunyan. That's the way, my way of remembering characters in the film. So I love Hagrid. Hagrid to me reminds me of, and I don't know if you had uncles, but I had uncles. Hagrid reminds me of like that fun uncle in your family that, takes you to a bar when you're 18 or...
That's Mark.
Likes to do cool things. It's just that cool uncle you want to hang out. Kind of like Uncle Buck. Remember
Uncle Buck? Uncle Buck,
like that kind of reminds me of Hagrid a little bit, like being an Uncle Buck like that. So
great comment, Oyen, definitely.
Thank you. Next one is from Thomas Anderson. Thomas writes, I don't think I'm old enough to see all movies ever seen, and 43. Well, don't feel bad, Thomas. David is 147, and he also has not seen all the films ever seen. No. But hence the reason we're doing this channel, so we can watch all the movies ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely have plenty to watch, and that was one thing I was nervous about when I first started doing the channel, was that I had already seen so much and knew a lot about movies, even older movies that predate me. I love all kinds of films, and I thought I'd seen a lot, but no, I'm learning from you guys and from my own experience that I have not seen that much at all, indeed. All right, so next up we have Greg Cohen, I don't know who this is. It's a friend of ours, actually, Greg Cohen. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
And he writes, Mark, you are hilarious. Okay, so the reason that I pulled this comment wasn't just to be like, give a shout out to our friend, although that is an ulterior motive as well. It was because a lot of you had made positive comments about Mark being in the videos. And, when I first started doing this channel, he was not interested in doing that. And a lot of the reason being was because he was nervous that he might get a lot of, mean comments, in the comment section. And not for any reason. He just knows that that's how things go sometimes. You put yourself out there and you're going to get all kinds of feedback. And I told him, look, these guys are amazing. I maybe have had one or two kind of bad comments, but even those are usually constructive, So just try it. And so thank you to all of you who have said positive things to Mark and given him that affirmation, because it definitely changed his mind. And I'm glad because I get to have a sidekick in some of these movies. So thank you guys, definitely.
Yeah. And thanks, Greg. I just wanted to throw in there, Greg, as like David said, a real good friend of ours. We actually went to Universal Studios to the Wizardry World of Harry Potter. And I wish I kind of would have watched the movies before going to the Harry Potter world, because I think I would have appreciated it a lot more.
Yeah, you already loved it anyway, but you would have understood what stuff was.
So now that I watched the films, hey, we might plan another trip to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So stay tuned, Greg.
You guys want to come with us? Pack your bags. We'll let you know. All right, so you got the next one.
So next one, Salem writes.
Hey Salem.
Hey Salem. Fun fact: the mirror of Erised backwards is desire. Get it? It's a mirror image. LOL. Mark should take the sorting quiz on Pottermore. I've been looking for a fellow Slytherin. Thanks, Salem. First of all, you blew my mind. I did not realize that Erised backwards is desire. That is.
I didn't either.
And great observation. That's awesome.
I don't remember. Did it say that was that in the books? Or I don't remember that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that was really, really good.
Yeah, that blew my mind as well. I was like, hello. And how many things have I seen that are right in front of my face like that we have seen and just don't even realize? So great comment from Salem.
Yes, thanks, Salem.
Now, the next few comments, I did say, and I don't lie to you guys, but there are times where I color outside the lines. I did say that I was going to use one comment to be representative of many, but this is the one exception, and only because it has to do with our dogs, which we are super proud of. So I wanted to pull several comments that you guys wrote about the dogs. And the first comes from Cambios1000. Super cute dog at Weasley's house scene. Now, honestly, I think this comment actually came from Chamber, so it kind of bled over into Sorcerers, but it had to do with the dogs, so I didn't didn't really care about that, but thank you. Second is my favorite handle, probably I've seen in a long time, is Me Fool.
That's a great handle.
Love it. It's Me Fool. Just subscribed. Thank you for that. But I'm kind of stressed by the dog/cat bowl being so close to the wall socket back there. Yeah, so it's actually not as bad as it looks on camera in real life. But definitely, yeah, if you see a frying dog back there, let us know. We'll put a hand up so that we can go help. Next up, Jazz Megan. Love seeing your cute dog in the background. Thank you, Jazz. And finally, V Persona writes, old lady dog ambling around in the background is so precious. Oh, thank you. I love that old lady dog. That's Dolce. Dolce is 19 this year. She's a long-haired Chihuahua. I've had her since 2003. And then our other dog is Valentina. She's a rescue dog that we found last year during the winter storm. For those of you who remember when Texas had that big storm last year, we found her around Valentine's Day, so we appropriately named her Valentina. She's about 2, so yeah, they're both hot messes, but we love them. So thank you guys.
Little fluffy.
Oh yeah, they're like fluffy.
Yeah, fluffy. Yeah, 3-headed dog. Yeah,
and they are like 3-headed dogs sometimes. Tell you what, they take after their father. All right, so that was the end of Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, depending on where you are, right? It was, again, the first movie, there were so many things you saw. You saw Harry Potter for the first time, on camera. Right. You saw Hermione, Ron, all these characters you've read about in the books brought to life. Hogwarts, it was just such an amazing experience. And even though I know you liked further films more,
right?
As did I. Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone is not my favorite. I love them all, don't get me wrong, but this is the first, and you just don't ever forget the first. It's a bedrock of the entire series. So.
It was great.
Yeah. So thank you guys for all your amazing comments on Sorcerer's Stone, and now we will move on to Chamber. Do you want to take over Chamber
of Secrets? Yes. This was probably my top favorite of all. I thought it was excellent, very very good. So we'll start at the top with Apgun. Hey Apgun. Apgun writes to the guy on the right.
That's me.
Stop with the trivia in the middle of watching the movie. It's distracting the experience and pulls you out of the story. If you can't help it, write it down, share it after it's finished, stick to observations, smart jokes, and commentaries. Thank you, Afghan.
Yeah, like I always say, we like all the criticism, we like all the feedback, as long as it's constructive. And, if someone just writes hate messages, but I think I've maybe only gotten one. I mean, out of all the videos I've done, I've got 65 up now. And so out of all of those, I think I've only had maybe one that was truly hateful. You guys are at least respectful when you put comments like this. I appreciate it. Another big one is a good friend of mine named Patterned Horizon. A Patterned Horizon is his handle on YouTube. And he wrote something similar. He was like, you've got to stop with the spoilers. I think his comment was from Azkaban, but he basically said similar, that like if you can't, hold it back, write it down or something like that. And in my mind, I really didn't see them as being spoilers. But again, after listening to you guys and going back and watching in the videos how I was, I get what you're saying. So certainly we appreciate that feedback and keep it coming. Positive or negative, we just love hearing from you guys. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So Timothy Keynes writes, I like the Dumbledore clap. Yes, Yay. This is the Dumbledore, the OG Dumbledore, Richard Harris from the first movie. For some reason, Mark just really liked that and then did it. And now it's stuck.
So when I saw it in the first film, I thought, I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to clap. So I said, okay, after every film, I'm gonna clap just like Dumbledore.
Yeah, when there's something to celebrate, we do our little clap.
Do the Dumbledore clap. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Timothy.
Yes, thank you.
Next person, C. Pierce writes.
Never heard of this person either.
Right. From Parker, Riley has watched all Harry Potters. Hey, buddy. Glad you're watching. I'm glad that Bradley's watching all those Harry Potters. You need to come by so we can watch Harry Potter.
So this is our nephew and niece. C. Pierce is my mom. So he jailbreaks my mother's YouTube account and writes comments from Parker, and then he'll write his message. So thank you, Parker. Thank you, Riley. I know Riley watches.
Yes. Hey, Riley.
So definitely when you guys are in town next, we'll watch some Harry Potter.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
All right, so who's next? Next up we have... Oh, this one comes from Caroline Phoenix Me. Hey, Caroline.
Hey, Caroline.
Now, this is a little bit longer of a comment, but she's got some good quality information.
Excellent comment.
So I want to read the whole thing. So she writes some facts about this movie, because I love the behind the scenes. Yeah. I love the trivia. That is my wheelhouse. You guys know I love that. Number one, it has a lot of improvised moments. For example, in the end, Gryffindors, Ravenclaws, and Hufflepuffs do a standing applause. but discontent Slytherins do not, except for one. He stands up, and Draco pulls him down. The actor simply forgot that he was not supposed to join the action. So he stood up, accidentally not remembering, and then he pulled him down. So it was an improvised moment that was a great one. You know?
Left it in?
Huh?
Oh, they left it in.
Yeah. Number 2, when the image of Lucius Malfoy, and I have to say it properly because I keep saying Luscious around here, and Mark keeps referring, he's Lucius. It's like, that's kind of where Draco Norris Sr. came from, because I kept calling him Luscious Malfoy, was designed. At first, he was to have short black and white hair, Cruella, and he was supposed to wear a pinstripe suit. But the actor, I think Jason Isaacs is his name, suggested long blonde hair with dandyish robes, and it worked. Also, he held his chin up to make the hair stay perfectly straight, and this is why he looks haughty all the time. And I'd heard that about the hair. I didn't know that about, well, not the color, but the holding it back so it would stay straight. You know, very Pantene Pro V. But I didn't know that was something he decided.
Well, I like that they kept him blonde like that.
Yeah, it works.
He looks very much like, to me anyways, to Vampire Lestat from Anne Rice, the Vampire Chronicles. But I figured if they would have done like the black and white hair with the pinch, he would have looked like Gomez from The Addams Family.
Well, I could see that, yeah.
I mean,
like a Gomez meets Cruella kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, it'd be one of those things where, like, if we'd seen it, we probably wouldn't be different, so you wouldn't know. True. But I like this better as well.
Yeah.
Number 3, she writes, pay attention to Mrs. Weasley's outfit. This one got me. In her first scene, Where Have You Been? It is made of a multicolored yarn. As the Weasleys often cannot afford to buy new things, don't start crying, Mark. He gets upset with these things. She knits sweaters for kids by herself. And it is implied that this dress is made out of the leftover yarn. And that one to me is like, the attention to detail, so good, so emblematic of J.K. Rowling's writings and the producers of film and things like that. But those are the kind of stories Mark starts crying if he reads them in real life. Anyway, number 4. When Harry and Ron catch Lockhart trying to flee from Hogwarts, he tosses a wig into his trunk, Beyonce. Another wig is seen on the table during the conversation, liar, liar, hair on fire. So yeah, Gilderoy's hair is just a wig. And so Caroline...
Snatch
that wig. Oh yeah, total Beyonce.
Right. All right, so next one is Aaron Kern.
Hey, Aaron.
Aaron writes, the 20-year HBO special came out, and I watched it earlier, and this is just helping fuel the nostalgia train I'm on. Well, thank you, Aaron. I'm also on the Hogwarts Express with you.
Right. For the first time. So it's good nostalgia for the rest of us, but for Mark,
so
it's the first time he's experienced
right,
it.
So I'm definitely enjoying watching the series.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch more. I'm so glad that I've watched the first 5 so far.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying them, so...
Thank
you, Aaron. I'm on the Hogwarts Express.
Definitely. And in fact, that special is what gave me the idea to watch. And I really wanted to watch for the channel because it had been so long. But as I said in the previous videos, because I have seen, especially the first few, so many times, it just didn't feel genuine to pretend or to just do a video like I've seen it for the first time. Oh my God. Like, that's not me. You guys know it's not me. Might be other actors, but it's not me. So I was trying to figure out a way, though, because I didn't want to just jump right into the 20th anniversary special and do a reaction video to that. I really wanted to include all the films and lead up to it. So that's when I asked Mark if he'd be interested, because previously it said no. No Harry Potter, not interested, not his thing. So thank you to you guys for encouraging him. Yeah, and thanks to the 20th anniversary for making this possible. We're definitely going to include that when we get done. So yeah, that'll be at the end.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that was Chamber, all done. Again, thank you to all of you who submitted comments. I really wish we could have read them all. You had some amazing content, but we tried to pull some good ones. Let us know in the comments down below of this video, by the way, how you like what we're doing here, if you like this style, and what else we should include in upcoming editions. So, ready to move on to Azkaban?
Yes.
Oh, I love me some Azkaban.
Prisoner of Azkaban was very,
movie number 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah, so what did you think of this one? Do you remember?
I would give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
It was also one of my favorites.
Yep. So this is the one that is still to this day my favorite book. I've read the books. I believe I read up through Order of the Phoenix. I'm pretty sure that's where I stopped. But at the time, again, kind of like the movies, they're all good. But Prisoner of Azkaban, it was just one of those books that I could not put down. And there are so many twists and turns, and there's so many revelations, and I love stuff like that. Plot twists and double identities. So it had all of that, and it just was really good. I've said before, again, love them all, love the books, love the movies. Azkaban's probably number 1 for my books, and Goblet, which we're about to get to in a minute, is probably number 1 for my films. It's really hard to choose, and we'll get into why, but But yeah, so
They're all very
Azkaban
good.
is way up there with me, and I love the film as well. So actually, I will start off with this one with Gerald McBoing Boing, who another
Gerald, I
handle
love
that I
that
love.
handle.
Gerald's so good; he always comments on stuff. Madame Rosmerta, the landlady of the Three Broomsticks, is played by Best Actress Academy Award winner Julie Christie, whose most famous role was Lara in Dr. Zhivago, 1965, 60 years after Mark was born, which would be a good candidate for reactions, though you might have to divide it up into 2 or 3 parts. The cinematography, which Gerald knows I enjoy, is jaw-dropping, and the beautiful musical score, which I also enjoy, is evocative and haunting. Yeah, so that's a good sell for Dr. Zhivago. I'm very familiar with Zhivago. I haven't seen it. It is actually one of my mom's favorite movies, and she has been telling me for years, so she's on your side with this one. She's been telling me for years I need to watch Dr. Zhivago. I know all about her role in it, and I knew that she had won the Oscar for it. She still looks beautiful. I think she must be in her 70s now, I want to say, the actress, but she just looks so pretty. So yeah, thank you for the recommendation. I definitely would like to watch it. And if there's an interest there, if anybody else seconds Gerald's notion about watching it for the channel, let me know. But yeah, she definitely added a lot to a character that is just, sort of one of the, I guess, additional characters. Obviously, she's not a main player, but that was a very pivotal scene because that was where we learned about Sirius Black being Harry Potter's godfather. That's when Harry gets very upset. We start to see that teenage rage that comes out of him. He goes this Kurt Cobain phase. Luckily with better endings,
right?
Than him. But anyway, that's where he gets really, really upset, and so a crucial scene. But thank you, Gerald. Great recommendation. Nonetheless.
Speaking of broomsticks, I really like the Nimbus 2000 and
the fireball. This one,
yeah,
that was the end of this one where he gets the fireball. Yeah.
That was really, really cool. So
yeah, because we're not huge Quidditch fans,
right?
Contrary to the shirts we both wore the last video that had to do with Quidditch. We just like the shirts. But yeah, we like the broomsticks though, and they could have gone with just basic brooms. They could have gone with just the old, sticks and twigs and the big broom that you always see like with other movies, right? Yeah. But they made it like super impressive. I thought.
Yeah, the Nimbus 2000 kind of, to me, it looks like a, I don't know, I think Fender guitar
like
for some reason. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like Harry's gonna jam out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought throw that in there.
Yeah, very good.
All right, next person, Eddie Tucker. Hey, Eddie. Eddie writes, "This is one of the ultimate best of the series. The direction was outstanding during the Quidditch match, and the Dementors are coming.
Oh yeah.
There is a shot of an umbrella that blows past Dumbledore that is absolutely brilliant. Buckbeak became the best new character. When Harry is riding him and they are flying over the lake, Buckbeak dips his hoof into the water, and it's a beautiful shot," he writes.
Yeah.
I have a man crush on Lupin. I've watched his career for a long while, and man, what an actor. This is a great reaction, guys. Thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you for
Eddie.
watching. I appreciate that, Eddie. Thanks for commenting. Yeah, Professor Lupin
was the werewolf.
Right. Yeah, I remember now.
Vince gets the dark arts teacher in this one.
I don't really know much about him.
Yeah, so you'll find out more, actually. Again, no spoilers, but you saw him again in Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
He's not going anywhere, I will tell you that. I know you guys don't like when I spoil, but that's a huge spoiler. It's
I don't
fine.
think it was that interesting other than he became a werewolf.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite, I will say that. And he's one of those where, like, there's a little bit of mystery about him in the beginning. Remember, he's the one who's sleeping on the train when they come in, and they're all talking, and then he wakes up to, like, get the Dementor off of Harry and rescues him, gives him the chocolate so that you can find out that the chocolate is what offsets the symptoms from being having a Dementor suck the life out of you, basically. But anyway, so yeah, he became one that people liked, but he's a very complex character because when he goes into his werewolf form, and they call him an animagus, I think is the term they use, which is a wizard who can transfigure into something else. He doesn't have as much control.
Right.
So yeah.
At first, I couldn't figure out if he was a good guy or a bad guy because I thought he was a bad guy.
Right.
Didn't he pull Hermione and Ron underneath the tree? The Whipping Willow?
Yes, actually, who did that? That was Sirius as the dog. Yeah, that was Sirius.
Oh, the dog.
And dog, who also is an animagus, in dog form, pulled.
My bad.
Yeah, no, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I thought it was
pulled Ron with Scabbers under the tree into the Shrieking Shack. Yeah, and then Lupin came in.
Oh, wrong guy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Confused my werewolf.
I'll double check it. I'm pretty sure.
I confused my dogs there.
Yeah, I'm never wrong.
Of course.
So yeah, so I'll double check. Oh, and also Eddie, one more thing. Penny Dreadful. Yeah, Mark doesn't know what that means, but he knows what it means.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so next up, Oliver Hollingdale. Still the best out of the whole series. Oliver, okay, so I love Oliver. Hey, Oliver. Oliver makes movies too, by the way.
Oh, cool.
He's like a filmmaker. He's
really?
super cool.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I will say, yeah, kind of as I was saying a minute ago, it was my favorite book. Now, before I saw Goblet, and we'll get to Goblet in a minute, Azkaban was my favorite as well. It just, the way they brought it to life was just so great. And the effects so great. You know, you guys know I'm no enemy of CGI. I like CGI just fine, and so it doesn't bother me or anything like that. So I actually really enjoyed it. But so many of you, I pulled this comment from Oliver because several of you said this. This was a big fan favorite. I think a lot of it is because of the characters and what happens in the books, the story. But several of you said the same thing. If this was your favorite, so thank you, Oliver. Certainly appreciate the feedback.
Thanks, Oliver.
And to all the rest of you, said the same.
All right. Next commenter, Katie. Hey, Katie. Katie writes, "You guys are so funny." Aw, thanks.
It's true.
"I'm having a blast watching your videos. I would love to sit down with y'all and watch some cool movies. You seem like such a fun lot."
Hey, we got a chair back there.
Yeah, for sure. "I can't wait for Goblet of Fire as it's my personal favorite. That very movie was actually when my interest in Harry Potter sparked. And I went back and watched the previous 3 movies and read all the books that have been published up until then. Also, the ending of it is just chef's kiss."
Oh, I love that. I love that expression. I didn't know that before her comment. I never heard
That was
chef's
awesome.
kiss.
Yeah. Then she goes on to write, "Some people in the comments seem to be under the impression that you still talk too much and spoil things, but I disagree." They're talking about David. Whenever Mark asks something, whenever Mark asks something, you usually just shrug and say "could be." I don't give anything away. Also, it's a reaction channel. If people complain about you talking, they should just play the movie on Netflix or elsewhere. Haha. Well, for that, I do kind of ask a lot of questions, and I kind of want to know what's coming up next. And of course, David is compelled to tell me what's going to happen.
That's true.
So.
We're still getting used to doing this too. And our dynamic at home is very different than when we watch for the channel. So at home, Mark does not care about spoilers. If Mark asks a question, he expects an answer. And so I will usually say, "Oh yes, that's so-and-so." I will not give away the farm. You know what I mean? I would not tell him, for example, if he were to say, "Hey, where's Voldemort? Does he ever come back?" I'm like, "Oh yes, he comes back and he's in the hole." I would never say anything like that. But if he asks me, "Is that a Dementor?" and I know we're about to find out in 5 seconds that it is, I'll say, "Yeah, that's what that is." But nevertheless, this is again a situation where, you know, thank you, Katie, for defending me. I certainly appreciate that, and several of you did, and I appreciate you as well. I will say though that I have pretty thick skin, and I don't take this personally when you guys tell me things like that, and so I tend to go by whatever. This is, like I said, I always make the lame joke because you guys know me and my lame jokes. This is not my tube. This is YouTube. I want to do this for what you guys want to see. You tell me what you like. You tell me what you respond to. And I will act accordingly. Now, if it's something I believe in, or if it's something I don't really believe I'm doing wrong, I might argue with you on it, or I might just say thanks, but no thanks. But there are some changes to be made, and a Patterned Horizon, that guy that I mentioned earlier, who now like we talk and like he's a really cool guy, started off the same way. He had a negative comment, not negative, I wouldn't say, but it was just more of a pointed, you know, criticism of how I was acting in the films. And so I definitely appreciate Katie always having my back. She's one of the best, but certainly thank you to all of you who make the constructive, critical comments as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Katie.
All right, and lastly, we have Randy Reeves. Hey, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Randy's the one who waits for videos on his iPad. He's like so awesome. He'll be like, "I was waiting for your video on the iPad." I'm like, "Oh, Randy, you're so great." I did a quick little Photoshop to see what Mark would look like with a mustache. Oh, no need, Randall. No need. We've got the picture right here. So here you go. Now you can see. Now you see exactly what he looks like. That's Mark with a mustache. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Not very flattering photo of me.
No, Mark looks like he does. You're not a big mustache fan, right?
I'm not. I can't really go facial hair. I work in the financial district, so we pretty much keep a
clean cut
face.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So that was the end of Azkaban. Azkaban, a turning point in the series. This is where we saw Dumbledore 2.0.
Yeah.
Michael Gambon, who I love so much. I mean, I love Richard Harris as well. Don't get me wrong, but Dumbledore in my mind is always Michael Gambon. Sorry, he just kind of is. This is where we saw Sirius Black, where we saw Buckbeak for the first time, like Eddie mentioned. So much, again, twists and turns, a lot of background, filling in a lot of development. So this, again, was my favorite book to this day, but also definitely up there with the movies for me as well. What about you?
I gave it 2 thumbs up. This is also probably one of my favorites also. This is where they also mentioned, or I think I saw the Leaky Cauldron. For the first time. I had Butterbeer at the Leaky Cauldron.
You've been to the Leaky Cauldron Universal Studios.
So I thought that was cool.
Oh, and Peter Pettigrew. This is where we first saw Scabbers the Rat turned into Peter Pettigrew, and we found out who he was. So I mean, you'd seen him mentioned before, but you didn't know who he was, and so this was where we found out about that. So all of those things that they covered and more, made this such a great movie. So so thank you guys again for your comments on this one.
Thank you.
Thumbs up to you. Most importantly, 2 thumbs up, right? Dumbledore clap. Most importantly to you guys, as always. And moving on to Goblet of Fire. So, number 4. This is the 4th movie.
Number 4. Goblet of Fire. I don't think I cared for the ending on this one. I thought it ended too abruptly.
Right. But that's a good thing. That means you were so into it, right? If I remember correctly, that you wanted to keep going.
Yeah, and I think this is probably the one where it just got really dark. Mm-hmm. I also noticed this one was the PG-13 one. Because the kids are 13 years old, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think that's how they do it, but it's fair in this case to assess it that way. Yeah,
it was more adult, I think, because I guess it went darker.
It was, and it was like I said in the video itself, it was the first time we saw a death, of a character. They mentioned death, of course, many times. The whole thing started with the death of Harry Potter, his parents. But this was the first time that we actually saw students dying. With Cedric Diggory. Yeah,
so. I thought it was cool. I really liked this one because Robert Pattinson. I thought that he was going to be a character through the entire series, and then they go on and kill his character.
Not to be.
Spoilers.
But very important still. Yeah,
sure.
You know what I mean? So, all right. So you want to take the first comment on this one?
Yeah, I'll take the first one. Oscar RG.
Oscar RG. I love Oscar. Oscar's great.
Hey, Oscar. Oscar writes, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire, Harry?" Dumbledore asked calmly. I didn't really get. I'm assuming that's something.
Oh yeah, so this is the book. Yeah,
okay.
So basically, and several of you said this. And thanks, Oscar. That's why I pulled this comment. Again, representative of many. Many of you mentioned this. That in the books, a lot of people are very, very true to the books, and they are very territorial over the content versus the movies.
That's
almost like J.K. Rowling herself. Yeah,
of course.
So Dumbledore in the books. The point that he's making and a lot of other people have made is that he would never have screamed at Harry like that. Dumbledore was very calm. He was always very level-headed, But Michael Gambon, famously noted that he didn't want to be Dumbledore from the books per se. So he intentionally did not read the books. He just created his own character, exactly, from the notes. And so that's good, yeah. But that's where you're going to see a little bit of differences, right? Because Michael Gambon approached it like, "Did you put your name in the fire?" He's like, "Oh my God," Whereas in the books, very calm, very.
But that's typical when you adapt a movie from the books, and it always differs. So.
Oh my God, yeah, especially considering the liberties that some movies have taken. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some films where they made major changes to characters from their descriptions to make the movie more inclusive, sure, but it definitely goes against the source material.
Yeah, you guys are really encouraging me to read the books. I don't know that I could make such a commitment because the books look like they're really long, but I might try them on audio.
Yeah, especially because you guys have to remember we live in Houston, so
Mark's a long commute.
Mark's commute to work is at best 45 minutes and at worst a little over an hour. So audiobooks would be a perfect solution.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, next up, speaking of Lestat, this comment comes from Lestat. "I usually enjoy your reactions, but your edit choices were a little abrupt. As for the third act, I'd hope that you'd lay off the dad jokes."
Can't.
Lestat. Have you seen any of my videos? Jesus, whatever.
He can't help himself.
But alas, ain't gonna happen. Kind of ruined the vibe for your friend. He's fine. Lastly, how did neither of you not recognize the incomparable David Tennant as Barty Crouch Jr.? Stay safe, guys. So Lestat is another one who I love. Lestat actually and I get along very well. But he made this comment and I appreciated it. And I would say that, this was not my fault. In fact, this was by far the most frustrating Harry Potter upload. This was where Warner Brothers got together with YouTube and came after me. And if you remember when I tried to post this, I had to post it like twice. It went up and down. I had too much content included. And so the way it works is, and I won't get technical because it's boring and you don't care and I totally get that. But just to kind of give you an explanation of what happened. When I upload a video, I have the opportunity to make changes after the fact. But if I want to make those changes and not have to re-upload it from scratch, I have to use YouTube's internal editor. Mm-hmm. And it's not as sophisticated as the software I used before uploading it. So I really just had no choice but to either mute the scene altogether or just eliminate it. And so that's why it seems like choppy footage, Lestat. And so Yeah, that's the reason. But as far as the dad jokes, yeah, those I'm sorry to say are probably here to stay. Mark,
those will never stop.
Those don't get turned off with the videos either. He hears it all the time. But thank you so much, and thank you to you guys for your patience with the videos to begin with, or this video to begin with the uploading and then the re-uploading, and you guys are just the best as usual. So thank you for that. Oh, and David Tennant. Yeah, Mark doesn't know David Tennant. He doesn't watch as much British stuff as I do. I first fell in love with him. I haven't watched Doctor Who, so I know I should probably watch. He is. Yeah, he was one of the Doctor Who's, but I need to watch that. I know, because you guys are going to say that would be a huge undertaking for the channel. But for myself, probably I might watch that. But he, to me, is best known from Broadchurch. So I watched him when he was in that with Olivia Colman and loved him. So yeah, I definitely noticed that was him, but I just didn't point it out because Mark doesn't know him. So yeah, thank you though.
Thank you. Next person, Prismatic Controller. Hey, Prismatic. Prismatic writes, you definitely have to watch a horror film with Mark. If he doesn't want to, guess someone is going to get tied to a chair and forced to watch one.
That's right.
Well, I don't know that I'll be watching a horror film anytime, but I might consider it. I probably have my eyes covered the entire time just like this. That's probably why my hands probably need to be tied to the chair. But, I mean, unless you're going to be hearing me shrieking like a woman every...
That's what they want. Yes.
Seconds.
Yes, 100%. That's what they want to see. That's a reaction video. Yes.
Okay.
So I will say,
maybe.
First of all, Mark said he would never do a reaction video, and here we are right now, right? So we'll see. I bet we can get him to watch one, but you guys give him some positive vibes if you want to see Mark watch scary movies, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, again,
thanks, Prismatic.
Yes, thank you, Prismatic. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. So sorry ahead of time. Tushar Wadamwar. Tushar writes, Durmstrang School is one of the most famous schools. Oh, some great background. This is why I love some great background. In the wizarding world, only for purebloods. No muggles allowed. Famous for notoriously and prominently featuring dark arts in the curriculum. And also gave rise to many powerful witches and dark wizards.
Okay. Like
Gellert Grindelwald, the most powerful dark wizard of all time before Tom Marvolo Riddle, a.k.a. Voldemort. Remember spelling it out in Chamber. Beauxbaton's Academy of Magic is another famous school located in southern France. Most notable student is one of the greatest alchemists of all time, Nicholas Flamel, who you identified as some white boy in the first Harry Potter.
The little white boy.
Who, along with his wife, created the Philosopher's Stone from the first movie. Yeah, so I love background like that, and thank you for reminding us of that or educating us on that, Tushar. Yeah, and another reason I pulled this comment was because a lot of people, and especially if they've just seen the movies, don't realize that Beauxbaton, for example, is not an all-girls school. But you might think that because Madame Maxine, that big old girl, comes in with all the ladies. Yeah, exactly. So you think that it's an all-girls school. But no, Nicholas Flamel went there. And then I think Durmstrang, and correct me if I'm wrong, is an all-boys school. But it might be co-ed as well. I don't know. So anyway, we know Hogwarts is,
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that comment. Thank you very much, Tushar. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Tushar. Next one, Jesse Hernandez writes. Hey, Jesse. Jesse writes, Order of the Phoenix is my fave. I can't wait to see you guys watch that one. Great video once again. I love watching any perspective since I've seen them 1,847,582 times.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse. Well, this is my first time watching it, so I got 1,847,581 times to go.
That's true.
I don't know how many times David's watched it. I'm sure
not countless. But yeah, a lot on the first few. Not as many on the last few, but yeah.
But I really did enjoy this one. Like I said, I didn't care much for the ending. I thought it was a little abrupt. It just ended quickly.
Yeah. And a lot of people agree with Jess. A lot of people have said that they love this movie as well. They've seen it so many times, and that Order of Phoenix they love, and it just this is the middle. This is and if Harry Potter weren't something special on its own, which it is. Yeah. This is very symptomatic of any series. By the time you hit the middle, if you're still on board, this is when the actors are comfortable with their characters. This is when you know what to expect as the audience. This is when you have your favorites. This is when it becomes almost like a sporting event, although we hate sports on all fashions and forms. But it reminds me of that because this is where you start rooting for certain people and certain characters and certain storylines. So it definitely makes sense because we're right in the dead middle of the series at this point. But yeah, Goblet of Fire... I mentioned this to a couple of you, I think, in replies. When I was younger and this movie came out, I was working for a cell phone company, and we used to rotate in at Walmart. They had a little booth at a small ass town where they had no cell phone store. So we would take turns going there. And I was right by the electronics department, of course, cell phones, right?
Yeah.
And they had the TVs going. And 1 week, for like a week solid, they played Goblet of Fire on repeat. So I watched this movie, honestly, probably more than the others, thinking about it that way, And I think that's when I kind of fell in love, because it just, or either that or just, Stockholm Syndrome. I just saw it so much that I got to be like preferential to it. But Goblet is a great movie, and I really enjoyed what they did with it. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so that's number 4 down. Again, thank you for your comments on Goblet as well.
Absolutely.
And now we move our happy little selves onto Order of the Phoenix. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Movie number 5. The Ballad of Dolores Umbridge.
Dolores Umbridge, yes. This one, I wasn't my favorite, although I did like a lot of the cast and the new characters. Dolores Umbridge being one of them. That's where they introduced... what was her character?
Oh, you liked Grawp, Hagrid's half-brother, the giant.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
he took a shine to him.
He reminds me of Babe Ruth from the Goonies.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Sloth.
Hey, you guys. Sloth. Hey, you guys.
Baby
and
Ruth.
Then this is where HBC came in. HBIC.
HBIC. Yeah, somebody put that
y'all
HBIC.
pointed out. Yeah.
It's hilarious. This one had a lot of good characters that you like, but you just didn't like the story overall. Who? Bellatrix.
Bellatrix, yeah.
HBC's character, Bellatrix.
Bellatrix
Lestrange. And, speaking of her, and I think I said this in the video as well, I thought she came in sooner. So I was glad to finally see her. I really thought Bellatrix came in maybe in Azkaban. I had it, kind of misremembered, but, I was glad to see her for sure, because, I love that crazy hoe.
I loved her in The Queen. When she played Princess Margaret. I thought she was very good in that.
Yep.
Do we see more of her? I'm assuming we see more of her later.
Well, I won't tell you, but... I would get your hopes up.
I got my hopes up on Robert Pattinson, and y'all killed him, so...
He came back in like a flash of Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, but...
They showed him floating, I think,
so
in the
I'm
background.
hoping Bellatrix will make a comeback.
I think you'll be okay.
We'll
put it that way. I think you'll be okay. And speaking of The Crown, this one had Imelda Staunton as the incomparable Dolores Umbridge. So she also will be in The Crown playing the Queen in the next 2 versions of that. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, okay. So on this one, we'll just jump right in. The first comment comes from Amy Louise Orr. And Amy writes, "Arg, so excited to watch this and finally get to talk." Yes. "As much as we hate Dolores Umbridge, the actress who plays her has done a fantastic job creating a character that we all greatly dislike.
Yes.
I'm loving reacting to this series. P.S. I'm a Slytherin too.
Yay.
And I love your house shirts. Thank you so much." Yeah,
Thanks,
those are the
Amy.
Quidditch shirts that we got. Yeah, so many of you wrote that you think Dolores Umbridge is worse than Voldemort. Several people wrote that. They were like, they really hate her. And I would say that's a testament, as Amy is saying, to Imelda Staunton, the actress. Because, I remember, and I think I wrote this either in the comments or made a note about it in the video, that the actress who played the Wicked Witch of the West in Wizard of Oz, Margaret Hamilton, never regretted the choice, because it just immortalized her in film history as the Wicked Witch of the West. However, a downside to that is that she loved children, and for the rest of her life, every time she would come up to a child, that she would scare the hell out of them. And so she said that was the only kind of regret that she had about doing the role. And I would say that probably Imelda Staunton has experienced a lot of that by, when she approaches children who were little when they saw Harry Potter and don't know how to differentiate between characters and actors, probably the same experience. But anyway, so thank you, Amy. Great comment, and several of you said something very similar to that.
Thanks, Amy. Next person, Alexandra Shibalina. Sorry, I didn't mean to butcher your name. Alexandra Shibalina. Hey, Alexandra. She writes, "David, it's great for us that you don't remember this one as well as others, and so cool to relive it with you and your bro."
So, bro.
Hey, bro. She also writes, "You bring back great memories of me and my friend brewing butter beer at mine. It turned out so weird, by the way, to be honest. Saving your recipes to use to compare later. Thanks." And then further, "What a stellar cast, right? Imelda Staunton is amazing in that role, and HBC is horrifying and brilliant. I totally agree.
Yes. And you know, the butterbeer, we should have said at the beginning, actually, Mark's drinking butterbeer tonight.
Drinking butterbeer.
The recipe is on the description for this film, for this reaction, Order of the Phoenix. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link right up here so you guys can check that out. But yeah, I'm doing the peach tea as usual because it's spilling the peach tea. So I think it was Oscar that did ask earlier about the name of the series we were going to do, the Spilling the Peach Tea. He was like, are you going to call it Spilling the Butterbeer? And I was like, well, we'll see. We came up with something. So that was how we sort of settled on it. We decided to keep the name the same so that if I do this for other movies, it'll stay consistent with Spilling the Peach Tea. But of course, how could we not have butterbeer for the Harry Potter one? So there you go. Sure.
And going to Alexandra's comments, Imelda Staunton did do an amazing job with this character. I really liked her little pink Chanel suits. She kind of gave me like a Jackie O vibe. I know I also
Jackie No,
right. I also mentioned that she reminds me of a French teacher that I used to have in high school.
Yeah,
and so one of you guys found.
Oh, they did.
Their YouTube channel.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh,
I don't know if it's the same person.
Yeah,
but I thought that was.
It didn't matter because it was so hilarious. He was like, "Hey, Mark, now you get to relive the nightmare," and he put a link to her. Was it YouTube or something? Yeah, hilarious. Awesome. Yeah, that teacher. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Yes, thank you, Alexandra. Always good to hear from you as usual. Next up, Glowworm Reader, RDR, I assume it's Reader. She's also great, comments so often on things. Awesome. I read that even back when the books came out, Hogwarts was controversial in Britain because boarding schools are no longer in favor, being too elitist and breaking up families. P.S. The killing curse isn't abracadabra, it's Avada Kedavra. Avada Kedavra. Yep. You know me. You know me on pronunciations. Of course, it's meant to sound like the phrase. Yes. So I think what I usually say is abracadabra. That's how I usually mispronounce it. So it's not quite as bad as saying abracadabra. But yeah, point taken on that. I hear you. Avada Kedavra. I'll have to practice that for the rest of the next few movies. But yeah, and then she's actually referring to the comment we made about the boarding schools. And yes, I know parents aren't on drugs. I was just kidding. Totally kidding. I was like, the parents are doing drugs. Some, never know. But I'm just saying that the boarding schools, Mark had asked if those are very commonplace in Britain, and several of you, much like Glowworm Reader, pointed out no, that boarding schools are not the norm. And I think one person even wrote that only like 5% of schools in Britain are boarding schools. And I think a lot of it comes from that we watch a lot of films and shows about the royal family, and we see so much of the royal family going to boarding schools. And, we as normal people should understand that most folks in Britain are not the royal family. But there we go, just assuming that because of what we see, that's just normal. We don't know. So yeah. So thank you guys so much. One of the advantages of doing this channel is that it's connected us with you guys, and you've left us such positive comments with information, so that we learn about the different cultures and different things in other countries. So thank you. Definitely.
Yes, thank you. Corey Gassaway. Hey, Corey.
Hey, Corey.
Corey writes, 2 reasons I love Order of the Phoenix, Luna Lovegood, and Dolores Umbridge. 2 amazingly penned characters. How do you not love Luna, and how do you not hate Umbridge?
Well said.
Yeah, very well said. So let's break this one down. Luna Lovegood. She is the one.
She was the blonde, the very flighty, kind of like seemingly.
She's the one that sees
airheady, kind of like
she sees the dead horses, right?
Right. Yeah. And those I wrote down because I always mispronounce those as well.
With the radish,
the thestrals, the skeleton horses with the
wings. Radish earrings.
The radish earrings.
I thought they were cherries. They're actually somebody pointed out that they were radishes.
We joked about them, and you guys know how I joke. We joked about it at the end of the movie, but we actually were pretty impressed because someone wrote actually a couple of you wrote to us that she made those. The actress herself made those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're turnips or radishes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. She reminds me of Dakota Fanning for some reason. I don't know why. She gives me that
blonde
Dakota Fanning.
Because you think all white people look the same. We've talked about this. We're not all the same.
Sorry.
Well, I will say that I love her, and she's an example of one of those characters that I had an image in my head from the books when I read about Luna Lovegood, and then when I saw what they had done with that character on the screen, it pretty much matched up. Like, that's how well cast she was. And I heard a rumor, which I don't know if it's true, but that's it's good enough for me. You know how it is. That the actress went to a book signing with J.K. Rowling, and J.K. Rowling met her and talked with her for a few minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like, this is Luna. You have to put her in the movie. This is her. I don't know if that's true or not. You guys let me know, but that's what a couple of you said. So I, of course, blindly repeat it. But yeah, she's a very, very fun character, and I will say, spoiler alert, you will see her more, in future films. So she's More good stuff to come from her.
All right.
And Umbridge, yeah, we've already talked about Umbridge, but yeah, totally. Love to hear. Okay, and last but not least, and again, I've said this before, I don't think you'll be mad if I say his real name, Alex. Alex writes, at David vs. Film, I cannot wait to see the next two. Thank you. Until you mentioned it, I just assumed Christmas crackers, and he doesn't mean me, at the holidays. He means the things. Yeah. Christmas crackers were something that was done by all those celebrating Christmas. I checked online. See, that's why I love him. He does his homework. I checked online, and the most authentic supplier in the U.S. I could see is Tom Smith Christmas crackers. Thank you.
I guess they don't have them at Party Universe, huh?
Well, I guess they don't. You gotta go to Tom Smith Christmas crackers, which I assume is a bunch of white people stocking shelves with Christmas stuff. The tradition is to lay the table with a cracker for every person, along with their cutlery, and then just before you eat, you pull the crackers, and everyone wears their silly paper hats. I thought they were crowns, but they're hats during the meal. The prizes inside the Christmas crackers tend to be quite gimmicky, and the jokes, make sure you get some with the jokes in, he says, will make you groan, but that is all part of the magic. And
awesome.
I love that. So, I'd asked the question, and again, representative of so many of your comments, you guys were so amazing, telling us about the traditions, the origins, where this comes from, because that's not something we do in the States as much.
It's not, but that kind of reminded me a lot of like my culture. So it kind of sounds similar to a piñata. And so a piñata is what do you call it?
Maybe like a not paper mache, but similar to that,
paper
of like
mache,
an animal
where
or
they fill it up with
figure,
usually treats, candy, and similar things that you would find inside a cracker.
Right.
And it's usually on your birthday, and you
pops open and
you
there's
hit
stuff.
it with a stick, and it's a lot of fun. So
yeah, definitely.
It sounds very similar to a piñata, is what I was
I think it'd be a lot of fun. We might try to do it here. I'm going to go to Tom Smith Christmas crackers and see if I
check
can
it out.
find
Yeah,
out
thanks
how to
for
get some
that.
of those. Yeah,
we're definitely going to check out Tom Smith Christmas crackers and have those.
And the way that he ended his comment with "It's all part of the magic" was just such a great ending for the video itself. I thought,
absolutely.
Because all of this is just so magical. I think that no matter why you like Harry Potter, no matter what it means to you, I think that's a perfect way to encapsulate why it's so special. It's because it's just magical. It's like when you go to Harry Potter, to the Wizarding World and Universal Studios, it's just such an immersive experience.
It was.
And that's just like these films, like you just get lost in the magical wonder of it all, I think that's what makes me so happy that you've been enjoying the movies.
I have.
Because I was hoping you would get to a point where you would experience that. And thanks to you guys and how encouraging you've been and how supportive you've been with the videos and the comments has made Mark keep going to the point where now he just loves it because he loves it.
I do. The only regret I have is that I did not watch him sooner. I think if I'd have seen him sooner, I think I would have appreciated going to the Universal Studios Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
True. We'll just have to go back now.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go back. You guys come with us. We said before.
For sure.
Yeah. But if you'd seen him earlier, we would be able to do these videos. And so we love doing these videos. So thank you guys so much.
It so much.
As we said before, keep the comments coming. Let us know how you like this format, or if you want us to do maybe like one Spilling the Peach Tea per movie, where we talk about the comments, or if you want us to lump together the last 3 films and maybe just do another kind of summary one like we did with this. Just let us know what you prefer. As we said before, you guys are the reason we do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
we appreciate it. Dumbledore clap to you from the bottom of our hearts. If you like this video, as I said before, please give it a like, share with your friends, whether you enjoyed it or thought it was a train wreck. People like to see it either way. So share with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't. Click the notification bell and
follow on Instagram.
Be friends with us on Instagram. We love you. So thank you guys, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye guys. Bye.